Ready? Hopefully they gave
The biggest surprise I had coming out of my
now.
few hours of playing Halo Infinite's campaign wasn't the delightful exploration nor
Should've
the
said
incredibly
that.
fun gunplay. Instead, it came down to the characters. Halo Infinite sees the legendary Master Chief once again tasked with saving the universe from yet another threat. And after 5 major campaigns, the Chief seems tired. He's a man of few words, but his movements and responses are heavier than I've seen
Tired, he's a
before.
super soldier. He
This
never
is
gets
Chief
tired.
without Cortana. His subtle yet distinct change is far from a bad thing, though. If anything, Master Chief's forlorn demeanor that he sets aside to get the job done is a great indication to me that Halo Infinite's story is intended to be a more impactful adventure.
It's been 6 months. Where have you been?
What happened?
Chilling.
Where is Cortana?
Chief's stern determination
Yes,
is also
where is
wonderfully
she?
contrasted
Tell
to
us.
his new AI companion's bubbly enthusiasm and his pilot rescuer's anxiety and weariness. Given developer 343 Industries' failure to give Locke the faintest hint of a personality or motive in Halo 5, and the game's generally lackluster story, this was a relief.
No. Not then. Not again. We need to run.
I need a weapon.
Weapon. This is all I've got.
It's enough.
Halo Infinite's
yeah.
contrasting characters aren't the only things to look forward to, though. Rewarding
kill some
exploration
Marines.
infused with Halo's DNA and genuinely challenging combat could be relief in today's open world game extravaganza.
He looks like a
where
bullet
many
sponge,
worlds
not
are
gonna
packed to
lie.
the brim with chores and only
One sec, let me just yeah, that's what it is.
a few offer meaningful adventures beyond their main path.
The tower.
If
Oh,
things
I'll go
continue
back
the way
after,
I
I'll go
played
back
in my
through it
4-hour
after.
hands-on time, I think Halo Infinite could fall into the latter. That's not to say there aren't some essential elements of Halo Infinite I'm curious to see if 343 can pull
I
off.
can't remember what it's
like
called,
Chief's
but I'm just
storyline
going to
with
keep referring
Cortana.
it as
For now, what I
as a
played in my
mauler.
preview session has left me even more eager for Halo Infinite's December 8th launch.
In Echo 216. Can you hear me?
Okay, he didn't seem that bad.
This is UNS.
Time and time again, Master Chief has woken up to fight a new enemy. Halo Infinite largely sees that pulled back
like,
by instead
grappled himself
focusing
into
on
space.
familiar fodder with the Banished from
Oh
Halo
man,
Wars
his
2.
beard looks so sick.
They eagerly step up as Chief's main adversaries after handily defeating the UNSC around Zeta Halo, including Master Chief. Their goal for Zeta Halo is unknown, but if it involves a Halo ring, there's nothing good that can come of it. After the UNSC's loss, Master Chief's main objective becomes freeing the captured Allied forces on Zeta Halo and thwarting whatever the
What's
Banished
happened
are
to his
planning.
eye?
I am Eshelon,
Eye.
War Chief of the Banished. This is my world now.
Bro, he is so fucking
Cortana
scary.
was
I
presented
can't wait
as a
to go up
mystery
against him.
rather than as a primary antagonist in what I played. What happened to her after Halo 5 and whether or not she's been truly destroyed is unknown.
I doubt it.
This crucial conflict seemingly takes a backseat to the larger fight with the Banished, though it is intertwined somehow.
The Banished.
Without getting into spoilers, I will say the few moments that dug into Chief and Cortana's relationship were an emotional gut punch. Halo Infinite is looking to deliver a meaningful story for legacy Halo fans, and I really needed to fulfill that promise after Halo 5's story missteps.
Hey?
She's not the driver, but a way to level the playing field.
Oh, is this a flashback?
What do I call her?
Ask her. She named herself.
Yeah.
Hello, Master Chief. I'm Cortana.
This all being said, I'm not optimistic that Halo Infinite is going to be a great starting point for new people to the franchise, as the best moments I saw in the first few hours rely on prior knowledge of the series. I don't like the idea of people being left behind, but I selfishly prefer that this game is made for returning Halo fans rather than tuning the story to accommodate new players.
I wonder if
Familiar with the story or
Cortana's
not,
gonna
though,
stay purple.
Halo Infinite sure is fun to play and explore.
I think I'm with you. I didn't even know what a banished was an hour ago, and even I can see the odds aren't great.
Nah, she's really good.
Playing Halo Infinite is a mix of familiar and new. One moment you're navigating encounters and ship corridors, then the next you're driving several Marines around the open fields of Zeta Halo. As 343 has clearly stated, Halo Infinite isn't quite a true open world game despite it featuring massive sandboxes. Zeta Halo is broken up into island chunks. Land masses can be connected by bridges, and Chief can eventually call in things like a wasp to fly around anywhere after they're unlocked.
But that's pretty much
So
open
eventually we
world.
may get to freely explore unlocked areas, but our range will be limited and more focused at first.
Yeah, but I
Zeta
like
Halo
that.
is
I like
littered
that.
with UNSC camps called Forward Operating Bases that were claimed by the Banished
I
after
think
the UNSC lost the big fight.
I'd get
Clearing
too
a
overwhelmed
base and
if it was
reclaiming
open
it replaces
all
the
at
Banished with
once at the
Marines.
start.
Even better, cleared bases convert to instant fast travel points and earn you Valor. Worry not. Valor isn't some sort of spendable currency. It's instead a point-based tracker of how much ground the UNSC has on Zeta Halo. The more Valor you have, the better backup and gear you can call in. As far as I could tell, earning Valor and reclaiming the Broken
So
Ring
you
is
can just
entirely
call in
optional.
weapons. That's...
So
I
what
don't
else
know
can you
how I
do when
feel
you're not
about that,
hunting
if I'm
down
being
the next
honest.
clue to the Banished plan? People don't just get to give the Master Chief a fetch quest. The only one who really gives Master Chief any sort of command is a new AI codenamed the Weapon.
Excuse
She's meant
me?
to destroy
She doesn't
Cortana and is in turn
command
supposed
me.
to be destroyed when her operation
We
is
command
complete.
her.
Though Cortana is seemingly gone, the Weapon remains and is happy to assist Master Chief until she reaches her eventual demise. Much like Cortana, the Weapon will call out enemy attacks, notable objectives, banished facilities that need destroying,
Starlight
and
Squad.
Marines in need of rescuing. I was more likely to come across a random patrol of enemies than an actual objective, but I didn't feel like I had to go too far to find something fun to do. I enjoyed the quiet moments though. Following Zeta Halo's native space groundhogs, or just enjoying the view was
Hey!
a pleasant reprieve from the action.
He's digging.
When I was ready to get back to it though, I could also hunt down and eliminate special targets to collect a unique version
Well,
of their
that's
signature
fair.
weapon that's equipable at Bob's. And of course, there are plenty of collectibles. A new scanner tool does make them a bit easier to find, if you have an idea of where to look. The scanner's range is rather limited though, so it's not a free pass to finding secrets. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the Grunt and Marine dialogue. They're hilarious. The Grunts are as silly and oddly aggressive as ever, and have a surprising number of lines,
Humans would never fight grunts like us. He's here!
while the Marines are far
Oh,
more
that's
confident
so
and excited about
Halo-free.
joining the Chief in battle. Their commentary made exploring all the more enjoyable.
Just in the nick of time, Chief.
Just because Zeta Halo is a larger, more open sandbox doesn't mean 343 suddenly has us doing puzzles or tasks unbecoming of a genetically augmented super soldier like Master Chief. Fighting enemies and destroying their stuff is always at the center of Halo Infinite's gameplay.
Clean Bandit,
And whether
right.
I was taking on a roaming pack of Banished, or infiltrating a fortress for a story mission, the more open nature only served to give me more options for combat.
Cheers, man. Did you,
If you've had a chance to check out
catch
either of the
my,
multiplayer test
my little
flights,
skit
Halo
at the-
Infinite's excellence
at the
in
start of the
weaponry
stream?
should come as no surprise. The campaign introduced me to other interesting weapons we've yet to see in multiplayer, like the Disruptor, a small shock pistol that doesn't do too much immediate damage, but deals out pain over time. The equipment we've seen in multiplayer unsurprisingly takes on a more powerful form in the campaign. Each of the 5 equipment options, grapple shot, shield core, threat sensor, drop wall, and thruster, can be upgraded with a collectible called Spartan Cores. Like most of the open world elements, finding the Spartan Cores and upgrading equipment is optional.
okay.
Master Chief won't start the adventure with all
I like
equipment either.
optional.
You'll find new tools to play with at specific story beats. Lacking a piece of equipment doesn't necessarily mean you're blocked off from
look like
certain
they've
areas
tuned
from
up
what I
the,
saw. But getting to or taking
the
on
pistol.
difficult encounters might be more manageable should you have more equipment.
I just remember the pistol feeling very snappy. That looked not as snappy.
Most of the big story beats happen in large, foreboding structures that could be viewed as something akin to dungeons. These offer a more classic Halo experience. Grunts, Jackals, Brutes, and Elites made up the bulk of the opponents I faced. Their role, weapon, and armor variety didn't feel lacking in combat. I came across one set of Brutes that were so geared up they nearly qualified as a mini boss fight. The Hunters make a return too, and are fun to fight as always. This being another ring, the
Hunters are
Flood
always
was
sick.
alluded to, though I never saw them. The Prometheans weren't present either. 343's vision of recapturing the essence of combat evolved in Halo Infinite means there's not really room
That
for
is
them.
a big
and honestly,
spoiler.
I had plenty of fun without them.
The
I didn't
Prometheans
see
are
the
not in
drones
it at
either,
all.
so I'm hoping the new flying enemies equipped with
Like,
hardlight
I would have
weapons,
rather
the
found that out by
skimmers, will be
myself.
their replacement. The real combat stars, though, are the boss fights. The first one with a brute lieutenant named Tremonius absolutely kicked my ass at first on heroic difficulty.
Alright guys, we don't
A
need to
moment
play this,
without
there's too much
movement rewarded
information. We've already
Tremonius
played
as he
it by
entered
watching
the
this.
encounter guns blazing and took me out twice in a row.
Oh my god.
I had been handling heroic without any issues up until that point, so I was stunned to see how Tremonius' aggression and support from 2 jackals paid off. I quickly got to work on a strategy and happily took on the challenge. I have thus far only explored a fraction of Halo Infinite, though the map isn't as large as something you'd find in an Assassin's Creed. Far from it, I'd say. What it does hold seems to offer
Okay.
something more curated with excellent combat at its heart. The story part is what I'm most curious about now. 343 needs to stick the landing in the plot department, especially with regard to giving us
So it's interesting that 343 is saying open world Halo, like the biggest Halo game ever, and these guys are basically saying it's not open world and it's not as big as you think.
a satisfying
Yeah.
resolution to the Chief and Cortana's relationship.
I mean, it's a AAA
If they
game
can
coming
finally
to
deliver
Game
that
Pass.
well-rounded classic Halo experience, then they'll have successfully and definitively made Halo their own. For more on Halo Infinite, check out our exclusive reveal of the new Streets multiplayer map, and stay tuned all November long for more IGN First coverage on Master Chief's latest adventure.
If I'm being honest, I wish they didn't tell us so much information on it. I would have rather have found a lot of this out by myself. That is a lot to take in right there. Right, let's